Tonight, the first of 3 debates for Ball State's Student Government Association, which slates are involved and what they had to say.
We have the latest on what ended up to be at Purdue University. Follow the campus police is following and responding.
The CDC changed one of its guidances for the first time in over 5 years. How it could affect you.
Plus, protesters could be making an appearance at the Super Bowl this year. We'll tell you why.
We got some rain showers on the way for tomorrow in the morning commute, but we also got some colder weather this weekend. I have all the details coming up.
Delaware County's only live television newscast from Ball State University's Unified Media Newsroom. You're watching Newslink, Indiana.
Good evening, and thank you for being with us. I'm Madeline Kerr.
And I'm Madison Smith. Tonight, the first of 3 debates for the 2022 SGA election season, but things will look a bit different for students as they show up to vote this year.
The ticket will show only 2 names, a presidential and a vice presidential candidate. Other positions that were formerly on the ticket, like secretary, will now be voted on by the Senate. Newslink Indiana's Angelica Gonzalez was at tonight's debate for the vice presidential candidates that I had the chance to moderate. But Angelica, you said for the 2nd year in a row, there's only one.
Yeah, guys, but even though there's only one slate competing so far for this term, other tickets can still join tomorrow by 4 p.m. But for tonight, I was able to hear from Rise what they hope to accomplish if elected. Vice presidential candidate Monet Lindstrand says a big focus for Rise is to tackle the topic of sexual assault around campus. Rise wants to partner with restaurants in the village to start an Angel Shop program.
And bars around the Muncie area, especially within the village, because so many students go there. So places like Roots, Brothers, Be Here Now, The Chug, etc., working to build that partnership between the 2 of them. And we really believe that we can get even just one to institute an Angel Shot that will be incredibly successful to keeping students safe here on campus and in the Muncie community.
And Charlie Charter. Students believe there should be a clear bus rotation and Charlie Charter should be more available at different times.
Advertisement of Charlie's Charter itself. Currently it is utilized as a white van, which a lot of students might not feel super comfortable with if they don't recognize it or aren't used to what they look like. So maybe providing more logoing to put on the side and whatnot.
The second SGA debate will be next Tuesday night in Pruis Hall. You can join us here live at Newslink, Indiana at 7.
Thank you so much, Angelica. And Purdue University police are reviewing an officer's use of force during arrest of a black man last week on the school's campus in West Lafayette. TMZ reports that cell phone video appears to show a white officer with an elbow pressed against the neck and face of the man he had pinned to the snowy ground. A woman recording the incident yells that the officer is hurting her boyfriend. Campus police said in a statement yesterday that the officer arrested the man Friday after a third party called and said, quote, "It appeared a woman was being held against her will." Andrew M. Stroth, a civil rights attorney for the man and his family, identified the client as Adonis Tuggle, a student at Purdue. Purdue University Mitch Daniels sent out a statement today saying, in part, there are no subjects Purdue takes more seriously than campus safety, students' well-being, and proper police conduct. The statement goes on to say that the inquiry of the police officers' handling of the situation will be swift and thorough.
Governor Eric Holcomb is commuting the prison sentences of 3 inmates who are bedridden and need 24-hour medical care, including 1 man convicted of murder and another sentenced to life in prison for kidnapping and rape. The governor's office announced the medical clemencies today, which are the first ever granted by Holcomb since taking office. They direct the State Department of Correction move them to nursing homes as they remain subject to lifetime parole.
And in lighter news, one of Muncie's best-known animal shelters is about to get an upgrade. Newslink Indiana's Emily Harless spoke with the Muncie Animal Rescue Fund's shelter manager about what they are doing to make their dogs feel more at home.
When walking into a dog shelter, this is a familiar sound. It's no different here at ARF's Dog Adoption Center. The center shows several dogs up for adoption, but there are many more behind the scenes recovering from bad conditions, like Olaf.
So on the morning of Saturday, January 21st, a little dog was found on the side of the road and he was actually frozen in a puddle on the side of the road.
After recovery, many dogs like Olaf would have to move into these kennels with cold concrete floors, scared and alone. ARF already takes precautions to avoid those jarring conditions.
We have a little bit less animals, a little lower staff to animal ratio so that they're getting a little bit more individualized care.
But Kirby says they are planning to do more.
We do have a contractor coming out to take a look at the building and see how we can incorporate. We have a garage next to us. We want to see how we can incorporate more storage options, try and get the food storage situated differently. We'd like to actually look at making it a more home-like environment for the animals.
Kirby says these new conditions will allow the dogs to feel more at home, an accommodation she says is incredibly important.
So animals are just like people. When you have, 20 or 30 kids being taken care of by one person, they're of course going to get less care, less individualized care, and animals are the same way.
ARF hopes to start their renovations within the next few weeks. Until then, the Dog Adoption Center will be closed to the public. In Muncie, Emily Harless, Newslink, Indiana.
If you want to see the dogs ARF currently has up for adoption, visit their website at munciearf.com. And this week didn't exactly have the right weather for dog walking at all.
No, hopefully maybe next week we will have some good weather to actually walk some dogs.
But we'll have to turn to Ryan for more. Ryan, what do you have for us?
Well, walking the dogs, it'll be pretty good for next week, but not so much for this week because we do have the cold temperatures this weekend. But look at these temperatures right now. 29 degrees in Indianapolis, 30 degrees in Muncie, 29 degrees in Fort Wayne at this hour. And we also go look at those colder temperatures when we were at this time yesterday. We were 40 degrees. Now we're looking at temperatures about 5 to 10 degrees colder than where we were at this time yesterday. Coming up, we're going to be also tracking those 40s for tomorrow. We're also going to be tracking those rain and snow chances, more so rain for tomorrow. And we're going to have those much colder temperatures for this weekend. I have all those details coming up.
Thank you so much, Ryan.
A former star of the Netflix series Cheer has pleaded guilty in a federal child pornography case.
Jerry Harris appeared in a Chicago court today where he pleaded guilty to 1 count each of receiving child pornography and engaging in sexual acts with a minor. Prosecutors say that in 2019, Harris traveled from Dallas to Orlando to meet up with a 15-year-old boy and sexually assaulted the teen in a public bathroom. They say he also communicated online with a minor in 2020, requesting sexually explicit photographs and video in exchange for money. Harris could face up to 30 years in prison on just one of those charges. A sentencing hearing is set for June 28th.
Inflation has followed us into 2022. The Bureau of Labor Statistics says the Consumer Price Index posed 7.5% in the last 12 months, the highest annual increase since February 1982. From housing to furniture, used cars, and medical costs, prices increased across the board, even without factoring food and energy, which tend to be more volatile prices by 6%.
And if you don't already have an ultra-low interest mortgage, it might be too late. The average 30-year fixed mortgage rate in the U.S. has risen to nearly 4%. That's up from last week's 3.55% and the highest since January of 2020. In other words, interest rates are exactly back where they were at the beginning of the pandemic. With the Federal Reserve expected to raise interest rates to battle inflation, don't expect mortgage rates to come down anytime soon. The good news is the current rate is still extremely low. And after the break, the CDC changed the ruling for the first time in a decade. Find out which one and what it could mean for you.
Plus, there could be a protest at this year's Super Bowl. Find out why next.
Riding the bus is an easy thing to do. Last year, we carried 60,000 riders from the Ball State area. 50,000 of those were students. Anywhere you want to go, Mitts will take you there.
I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Welcome back. The CDC is revising its opioid prescription guidance for the first time since 2016, when they changed it in response to an increasing number of fatal overdoses on drugs like oxycodone. It resulted in many states implementing restrictions and the dosage and duration of opioid therapies physicians could prescribe. Many people complain those rules cause needless pain to people who really needed the drugs, like cancer patients. The new guidelines take a softer approach and indicate clinicians should use more judgment over adhering to rigid requirements.
The U.S. is ready to roll out millions of COVID-19 vaccines for children under 5 years old if the U.S. Food and Drug Administration grants emergency use authorization. The U.S. Centers for Disease and Control and Prevention says the initial 10 million doses of the Pfizer vaccine will be available for the age group. The FDA's Vaccine Advisory Committee will meet next week to go over trial data and make a recommendation on whether the vaccine would be appropriate for the age group. If the FDA greenlights it, the CDC will make its recommendation. The CDC director must then sign off before shots can be administered. The rollout is expected to mirror the October rollout for children ages 5 to 11.
And the Center for Disease Control and Prevention has released new guidelines for the cruise industry. In the CDC's updated program, cruise ships can operate under one of 3 tiers. Vaccination Standard of Excellence, which means at least 95% of passengers and crew are fully vaccinated and boosted. Highly vaccinated, which means at least 95% of passengers and crew are fully vaccinated, or not highly vaccinated, which means less than 95% of passengers and crew are fully vaccinated.
A Canadian community that sits directly across from Detroit is pushing for an end to the trucker blockage along the Canadian-U.S. border. Today, the mayor of Windsor, Ontario, announced it is seeking help to end the blockage. Demonstrators protesting the country's COVID-19 restrictions have been delaying the traffic on the Ambassador Bridge. The Canadian Border Service Agency reported the bridge was temporarily closed to traffic from U.S. into Canada. Windsor police tweeted out a warning asking people to avoid the area. The police chief says the city has asked for federal assistance.
From the Super Bowl to the grocery aisle, pandemic problems just keep coming. Even though COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations are dropping overall in the U.S., those convoys disrupting travel between the U.S. and Canada might be planning one around the Super Bowl. That's according to the Department of Homeland Security. Truckers and other protesters in Ottawa, Canada say they're stopping traffic there to stop vaccination requirements and COVID restrictions. And ahead of the Super Bowl, make sure to tune in tomorrow morning at 8 for Waking Up with Cardinal Weather. We'll have special coverage and an analysis from Newslink Indiana's Vinny Martirano and Zach Greer.
Well, it looks like we're going to have some colder temperatures coming up this weekend. I have all those details coming up after the break.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Emotes say a lot, but they can't say it all. Think your guildmate is struggling? Try these dialogue options. Go beyond emotes. Check in with your guildmates at seizetheawkward.org.
Every day,
Millions of people are connecting
and even though we're overcoming obstacles, watching each other's backs,
and banding together.
we should still make an effort
We should still make an effort
to get to know each other.
on a deeper level.
Father,
Cosplayer,
Mentor.
actor.
it's time we take a step forward
It's time we take a step forward. Come together.
and discover
How accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
Welcome back. The current time is 9:15, and we're taking a live look at the Ball State campus. It was really cold today. I saw some ice on my walk this morning, and there's still a little bit of snow outside, so I'm really hoping that it's gonna look up the rest of this week.
Yes, I agree.
For sure. Now we're gonna go ahead and take it to Ryan for our main weather.
Yes, we do have some colder temperatures coming in along the way, especially for this weekend. And then we have a major warm-up. But first of all, we're going to tell you how these temperatures were today. We had 34 degrees for a high today, which is slightly below average for this time of the year at 38, and nowhere close to the 60-degree temperatures that we seen back in 1965. Now look at these temperatures right now. Much colder than where they were at this time yesterday, where we were in the mid-40s. Now, 30 degrees is a temperature for Muncie, 27 degrees in South Bend, 29 degrees in Indianapolis, and Evansville still warm at 37 degrees at this hour. Now, factor in those winds, it's going to make it feel a whole lot colder than it actually is out there. 16 degrees in Kokomo, 18 degrees in Fort Wayne, 25 degrees here in Muncie at this hour. Now, factor in those wind chills. Yes, 5 to 10 degrees, even close to 15 degrees colder than where we are as how we were at this time yesterday, where the temperatures were much warmer, as I just stated just a little earlier. Now, look at these next 8 hours. Now, you're going to see the temperatures are not going to really go down. We're actually going to start rising a little bit as we go throughout the night. The clouds will stick around as we go throughout the course of the night, because that's ahead of a rain system that's going to be in store for us at the morning commute coming up tomorrow morning. Now, for tonight, now we're going to see rain and snow mix. I think it's going to be a little bit more in the way of rain, because temperatures will be above freezing with a low of 30 degrees. Winds out of south at 5 to 15 miles an hour. Now, let's time out that rain that's coming in this morning. For most of the night, we're going to stay dry. But as we go through the day tomorrow morning, and even most of the morning, you're going to see rain showers. And when that cold front comes through, we're going to start to see some snow. And it's not going to be a whole lot of snow, so it's not going to be anything like we've seen last week when we had about a foot of snow that came into the area. Otherwise, it's going to be cloudy for most of the weekend. We might see some peaks of sunshine as we go through the end of the weekend on Sunday, but not very much. But the good news is we do see some rain. The temperature is going to be pretty warm. As you see, 41 degrees will be our temperature for tomorrow. But then we drop off a little bit as we go through Saturday and Sunday, even Monday. And then we come back up to 42 degrees, which is actually going to feel a little bit more like spring. And speaking of spring, we are actually 38 days away from spring. Yes, it's a little bit early for it, but it's actually something I should bring up, because it's going to feel a little bit more like that you see here on my 7-day forecast. Yes, 41 degrees will be our temperature, high temperature for tomorrow. Yes, we're going to have to deal with some rain chances, and yes, those temperatures are going to be cold as we go through the weekend into early next week. But look at Wednesday and Thursday, as we're going to see temperatures in the 50s. We might even see possibly, I might be underdoing this a little bit, the temperatures might be actually close to 60 as we go through the course of the week next week on Wednesday, Thursday, making us feel a little bit more like spring than what we feel like right now. Even this weekend, it's going to be pretty rough as we go through those colder temperatures. But we do have to worry about those rain chances as we go through tomorrow as well. A little bit of snow, but I bet it's going to be a little bit more in the case of rain.
Man, Mother Nature is really seeming to be playing us with that 40 degrees down to those 20s. It looks like it's going to be a rough time. And as soon as you said snow, I was not excited about it. Really not excited about it. But 38 days till spring. That's pretty good temperatures to be seeing this early before springtime.
Yes,
for
March
sure.
20th will be the first day of spring. I can't wait for it.
Oh, I'm so excited. Thank you so much, Ryan. And now we're going to go ahead and turn to Caleb to see what he has to say about sports.
Thanks, guys. One Ball State squad preparing for a revenge tour and a packed weekend ahead for the Cardinals. Find out who's playing next in sports.
Here's your sandwich, miss.
Oh, thank you.
And your burger.
Awesome, thank you.
And your bowl of boiling water, sir.
After retiring from the NFL, I've been able to spend a lot more time coaching my daughter's basketball teams. It's something I love to do. Through our games and our tournaments, we see all types of coaching, good and bad. And it begs the question, do we really know who's coaching our kids? Do they have the proper training and screening it would take for me to be comfortable with my daughters playing for that coach? Our Youth Basketball Association made the decision to use trusted coaches to screen and train all of our coaches. I'm a trusted coach. Are you?
So if one cat has 4 kittens who reproduce every 6 months, how many cats will there be in 5 years? Who's got it? Is this... What is that? Seriously? Who threw that?
Cats are terrible at math, but they sure do multiply. Please spay, neuter, and adopt.
The solution is 10. Welcome back to Newslink, Indiana. I'm Caleb Zuver with sports. The Ball State baseball program is gearing up for 2022 as they look to get over the hump. Newslink, Indiana's Andy Newman sits down with the Cardinals to see if they feel like they can do just that.
Ball State baseball is revving up for the start of the 2022 season. After months of vigorous training, the Cardinals are itching to see their first in-game action in over 9 months, says redshirt sophomore pitcher Trenner O'Donnell.
I'm very excited. I'm ready to go, and I think a lot of the team is too. So we're ready to get after it, and we've been working hard, so we're all ready.
Even with all the hype surrounding the first pitch of the year, one team is anticipated the most, the Central Michigan Chippewas. Last year's series was tied 2-2 and left the Cardinals on the outside looking in on the NCAA tournament. Head coach Rich Maloney feels that every Mid-American Conference matchup will be pivotal to the team's success, not just Central Michigan.
Oh yeah, I mean, we get the opportunity. I mean, the whole Mid-American Conference slate is obviously being in the Mid-American Conference is playing our opponents in there. There's no doubt that Central Michigan and us have a great rivalry. So does Kent. But all the other schools, they're all competitive and they're all tough to beat. So playing every one of them is big.
To beat these squads, the program has laid out expectations for each other.
My expectation is that guys compete every day. Just compete. You know, there's a lot of talent on the team and be great teammates. So I believe if you compete really hard, you have some skill set, you're willing to be coached, you get better, and you play for your brothers, I think you have a chance to win.
Along with the program's expectations, the squad's goals for this year are as simple as can be, says graduate first baseman Trenton Quartermain.
Win a MAC championship, make our way to NCAA regional for the first time.
Ball State will take the mound for the first time this year next Friday against Bucknell in South Carolina. In Muncie, Andy Newman, Newslink, Indiana.
Now let's take a look at the action-packed week that's in store for Cardinal fans at Ball State. Starting things off with men's and women's swim and dive. We'll be swimming in the Ohio State Winter Invite. This event will run all weekend with swimmers competing from across the country. Next up is track and field competing in the Doug Raymond National Qualifier at Kent State the whole weekend. Taking things to the DePaul Dome, softball will be playing a doubleheader starting at 10:30 against St. Thomas and then again at 3:30 against Western Illinois. Women's tennis will be playing at Louisville in between the softball games at 3 o'clock. Moving to Saturday, women's basketball tipping things off at 1 o'clock at Kent State. Men's basketball follows at 2 o'clock at Buffalo. Softball will be taking on Murray State at 1 o'clock and then again at 8:30 against Seattle. Women's tennis hosts Oakland at 1:30 and the men's team travels to Dayton for a 2:30 start. And lastly, men's volleyball rounding out the night with a game against McKendree at 8 o'clock. Checking in on the action in Beijing for the 2022 Winter Olympics with the USA racking up a few gold medals in this week's action. Chloe Kim repeating as gold medalist in the women's snowboard halfpipe, Lindsay Jacobellis winning the women's snowboard cross, as well as Nathan Shen earning his first gold in the men's free skate. Finally, Ashley Caldwell, Christopher Lillis, and Justin Schoenfeld claiming gold in mixed aerial freestyle skiing, the first gold for the U.S. in the event since 1998. Super Bowl Sunday is quickly approaching, and there are a number of exciting storylines leading into the game. The game will be held at the brand new SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, California, where the Rams will be looking to be the second team in as many years to win the Super Bowl in their home stadium. The Cincinnati Bengals are appearing in their first Super Bowl since 1989 and the third in the franchise's history. And guys, the Olympics, I haven't been able to watch too much of it, but Nathan Chen's moment was pretty cool winning the gold.
Oh yeah, I totally saw his free skate. It was completely amazing. Thank you so much, Caleb. After the break, we'll take one final look at weather.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Can you help me?
I got it.
Thank you.
No problem.
Just like the rules to surviving Zombieland, there are steps you can take to be prepared for an emergency.
It's the right thing to do.
Talk with your family to make a plan. Look for safe areas to meet up if separated. And stock up on supplies. It's never too early to get prepared, so start now.
Right now?
Right now. You can't predict emergencies, but you can be ready.
You're welcome, America.
Visit ready.gov today to learn more.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago, in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back. Who will win the Super Bowl? That is the big question, and maybe a tiger has the answer. Misha the tiger slowly walked up to the scented glass to make his prediction. Each logo was scented with the same perfume, and Misha picked the winner by licking and rubbing the glass where the logo was placed. And no, he did not choose the Bengals. And apparently, the animals at the zoo have picked the correct winners 8 of the last 11 big games.
One Ohio town is ready for the Super Bowl and has bestowed a rare honor to the Bengals player Cheviot. Ohio is ready. Streets in Cheviot have a new name and look for street signs with names like Joe Burrow and Paul Brown Place. Ohio Governor Mike Dewin has declared Sunday would be recognized as Cincinnati Bengals Day.
And hopefully the weather is looking nice for the Super Bowl this weekend, but we'll have to look to Ryan to see what it's going to look like. Ryan, what do you have?
Well, yes, out there in Los Angeles, it's going to be beautiful weather for them. But here, it's going to be cold. Nothing like the 70s, but we're going to see those 20 degrees temperatures. We're going to see temperatures actually rise into the 50s later on next week.
Wow, I'm really upset. You know, I was hoping for some tailgating, maybe something to do with the Super Bowl, but unfortunately, it's not going to look that great. We're going to have some cold temperatures, like Ryan was saying, and you know, luckily they have good weather where the Super Bowl is happening.
It looks like we won't be spending much time outside for the Super Bowl.
No, absolutely not. Thank you so much, Ryan. And that is all tonight for Newslink Indiana. Be sure to join us tomorrow morning for our sister show, Waking Up with Cardinal Weather.
And for news anytime, anywhere, go to ballstatedaily.com. Have a great night.